Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Sick Podcast, Talking Titans. A couple days has passed since our third loss of the year. It feels like winning is something I couldn't even tell you what the feeling of winning is anymore. I don't know it. It seems like a foreign thing to me, but we're going to try to give you some more in-depth detail of what we think is going on in the organization, what we're looking at as far as this Monday night matchup, and much more on this week's show. So let's not waste any more time. Sammy, start us up.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Talking Titans.
Levis towards the end zone. Got a man. Touchdown. Wow. And it's the fourth TD pass of the day in the debut of Will Levis.
The sickest Tennessee Titans podcast. Sick! It's going to be sick.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Sick Podcast, Talking Titans. I'm joined by my counterpart, Jarett, tonight. Jarett, how we doing today, my friend?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm just trying to survive the week and try to put positive on Monday night.
Absolutely. It's written all over your face, my man. Believe me when I tell you, and all of ours for that matter. So welcome back in, everybody. Before we begin, let's give a special shout-out, as always, to our wonderful sponsor over at DraftKings. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Number one place to bet touchdowns. Download the Sportsbook app and use code SICKSPORTS. That's code SICKSPORTS for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
All right. So with all that,
and if you're feeling spicy and you want to throw money on the Titans, Titans right now are +1 at -115. I'm going to stay away from that one.
Yes.
But if you're feeling more ballsy like we did the last 2 weeks, now I don't know about you, Sal, but I took the money line last week as well, so I'm 0 for 2 with the Titans taking the money line. Right now, money line they're -108, and the over and under. This is the only thing that I'd probably touch right now. It's at 36.5, and that's at -112. So if you want spiciness, jump on any of those lines right now.
Well, it's all the fact that there's any potential books at all making this a pick'em, I think, is incredible. So kudos to Vegas, just begging you to take. Honestly, I mean, Dolphins +1 seems like a guarantee. But anyway,
we're gonna get to that game at the end of the show because I got some stats for everybody. Yes, I got stats for everybody. So.
Oh, I can't wait to hear him.
Let's dive into what happened last week, Sal. The offensive line, everyone got after us a little bit, and some other people on Twitter about how bad we criticized, Will Levis, and we all know if people watch full videos and watch full podcasts, they'll say that we said everybody was bad, and everybody has been bad. So I'm just going to put that out there for us, on behalf of us. We know that the offense has struggled, but it doesn't take away from Will Levis's struggle. He has 8 turnovers in the last 3 games. He has 4 interceptions in 9 games last year. He has 4 interceptions in 3 games this year. So there's a trend of turnovers going on. He has 3 lost fumbles. So something is going on with Will Levis. Okay, he's making bad decisions, missing wide open throws and wide open passes. Tyler Boyd, he hit him. It was a back shoulder throw. He should have, he was wide open. Yep. He should have hit him. But let's talk about the offensive line now, okay? Let aside Will Levis. The offensive line grades, because I like to do this on Tuesdays. The grades panned out. Obviously, you called out J.C. Latham, and then you apologize for what he said because he has been fantastic so far this year. He graded out at 81.8 this past weekend with 1 pressure. Skoronski, one of his worst games ever as a Tennessee Titans, 52.9 grade, 4 pressures and 2 sacks. He looked absolutely horrible. All the videos that you guys have been seeing on Twitter, shout out everybody that's doing the work over there, especially TD. I mean, just exposing these guys. And he just looked like dog shit. Sorry to say it. Another one, Cushenberry, we're paying a boatload of money. That's 2 weeks in a row, 39.5 grade. Per PFF. He had two pressures. Raduns, he's looking like a bright spot over there. But you know what? Me personally, Sam, we're going to talk about it. I'd put him over at right tackle. They're talking about right tackles. Put him over there and put Brunskill at right guard. It can't get much worse. He graded at a 75.1 with 1 pressure. Pretty damn good. The second best on the line. MP at 48.3, 2 pressures, 1 sack. And Jalen Duncan, when he came in, he graded at a 36.9, 2 pressures, 1 sack. Tyler Boyd gave up a sack and 3 sacks recorded on Levis. That's a total of 12 pressures and 8 sacks from this offensive line. That's an absolute atrocious going in that when you have the best offensive line coach in the league. I mean, you got so much talent on that left-hand side, and you're still giving up, 5, 6, 7 pressures and 2 sacks between the 3 of them over there.
Well, it's simple. It's partially they're not doing enough, and it's partially that Levis is does not have good pocket awareness right now. He doesn't. He just doesn't. And again, for those of you who have watched this show or maybe see anything that I say on any social media platform, the fact that I'm criticizing him the way I am after how much freaking campaigning I did for this guy should tell you everything you need to know. His pocket awareness is fucking garbage right now. It's just as bad as Tannehill's was at the end of his career here with us. He gets happy feet when the pocket collapses. He can't get out of it. And when he finds his way out of it, somehow, he just does the dumbest shit. Whether that be trying to do a fucking from the free throw line dunk first down from 3 yards away, which was just asinine, or if it's tossing the ball to the sideline, or whether it's staring at one of the best corners in the league down before a lollipop fucking screen for 6 the other way. It's just these mistakes are too great to think that with some better O-line help and maybe some adjustments by the offensive scheme that things are going to be better. It's very hard. I want to believe that. I know it's easy to say right now. Look at Josh Allen in the beginning of his career, okay? Picks all over the place. Look at Peyton Manning, the beginning of his career. He was a turnover machine. But guys, this is just it doesn't have that feel right now. It doesn't. And if you think it does, then God bless, and I envy you. But I don't have that feeling. And I don't know if this kid is as durable between the ears as I thought, too. And that's an even bigger concern.
That's the biggest concern.
It looks like the moment's getting too big for him now. And if that's the case, then we're really fucking screwed. Because that was supposed to be one of his biggest check marks is he's got a steel trap. And no matter what, pressure is not going to get this kid. And now after 3 games, it looks like it's fucking imploding down on him.
Yeah, and guys, just think about this, right? If you guys watched Monday Night Football last night, there was 2 games on. 3 of the 4 quarterbacks got the ball out their hands fast and aggressive. There were short intermediate routes, and that's on the coaching staff too, okay? But quarterbacks that hold on to the ball way too long, Trevor Lawrence looked like absolute shit last night, and he was supposed to be this generational talent. Okay, he's holding the ball too long. He's got wide receivers over there in Jacksonville. It's just, I mean, you can't blame everything on the offensive line. Yeah, you could, with the pressure rates and all that. But again, why can't we get the ball out of our hands as fast as all these other quarterbacks are doing? Can these wide receivers get open? I mean, we have generational talents at wide receiver: Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins. We just talked about it before the show. Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd. They all can get open. But then when you're seeing stuff like Teron Davenport is putting out there, when he's breaking down film, and then there's no way that these guys are getting open.
Yeah.
What's the problem? At that point, that's the coaching staff with route trees, like we keep talking about every single week. Why aren't these guys getting open? It's week 3 now.
It's evident, and that I'm glad you brought that up too, because that's what makes this such a Twilight Zone nightmare in every sense of the term, because you also can make a point that, again, we're just not putting our rookie quarterbacks that we invest in the positions to be successful. We're not. I'm sorry. This offensive line, no matter what your grading is for Latham or Raduns or whoever, they're bottom 5 in the NFL. And when you have a quarterback that is young, that is trying to develop and become his own quarterback and help lead a team to potential playoffs and beyond, and you cannot give him any help, it makes you think about the what ifs.
Yep.
And again, it's a double-edged sword. There are things he can do better, and there's things that I thought he would be doing better, even with the pressure he's receiving. And also, it's just, this is not what we were promised in the offseason as far as the new look Titans. We should have kept Derrick Henry at this rate because our run game is nothing to write home about.
Nope.
And at least you get something going with Derrick Henry. The defense has got to figure things out and change things up, as you finally have started to see with Baltimore. Without Derrick Henry, they're not beating the Cowboys, obviously. No. He had how many fucking yards? He controlled the entire game. When they thought they had a chance to come back, that was it. This is just all bad. It's all bad top to bottom.
The keys to everything is it's just the points off the turnovers. Right now, all those turnovers, like I said, 8. That Will Levis has given us, it's leading to 25 points that we gave away. We only scored 48 points. Okay, we have yet to eclipse 20 points yet. After we have this all-star lineup on paper, like Tyler Boyd says, we have a Super Bowl caliber team on paper, but certainly doesn't look like that. Okay, so when we're down in a game, the defense, like the Jets, like the Bears, when they got the lead and when the Packers got the lead, they're just pinning their ears back and they're just sending the fucking house at our offensive line at the weakest spots, and they're just pressuring the shit out of Will Levis. He is the most pressured quarterback in the NFL right now because of the simple fact of our line. We're blowing leads. One, we didn't have a lead last week, but we're blowing leads, and then they're just, like I said, they're pinning their ears back, and they're just getting after the quarterback. And we have no answer for it. No second half adjustments. Again, it's just a story of our life. It's a circle for us Titan fans every single week in and week out, year in and year out.
I mean, this I keep hearing over and over again, and every time I hear it, I get more and more sick to my stomach. We're approaching close to 1,000 days since the Titans have scored more than 30 points. I'm not talking about, 40, which is what you'll see, the Chiefs and the Niners will do 6 times a year. I'm talking about 30 or more. It's been almost 1,000 days. It's been well over 2 calendar years since this team has scored over 30 points. That's an organization problem. Now, obviously, it's easy to say, and you have a solid point in doing so, that because of the Mike Vrabel style football we played the previous seasons, that wasn't what he wanted to do, and he was open about it. He wanted to win the line of scrimmage. He wanted to control field position, win the game in the fourth quarter. And honestly, right now, he's looking like a fucking genius because this team, I mean, this is even making me look worse about my Vrabel bullshit because I don't think this team has a better record with Vrabel, but I mean, this guy's doing nothing different.
No, not at this point.
And the other guy won a little bit. So it's just I don't know where we go here. I don't know where. There's obviously things are going to get better at some point. Is it going to be this season? And if not, what is the first thing that's going to happen to make this team start getting better? I have no idea, and that's a problem. I have no idea.
The first thing that needs to get better before we get into that is obviously winning. We're gonna touch on that, but I want to call out a certain individual now because before the show I was just scrolling just to see something, and something popped at my eye. There's somebody on defense that we paid a hell of a lot of money for and we traded for this offseason, right? And so he's struggling. He says, "Oh, I'm letting up 2 catches for 18 yards, and that's not good enough for me. I want to hold an 18." Right now, he's ranked 96th out of 97 cornerbacks in the NFL. Okay, you're supposed to be this lockdown, shutdown corner and no yards, and he's playing like shit. So when our defense, and I'm calling out Snead, okay, when our defense is supposed to go, it's supposed to go with our cornerbacks. And right now we're getting Malik Willis thrown all over us, Aaron Rodgers on 2 throws to Cheeto, to Mike Williams, and the over-the-shoulder Garrett Wilson. Those were on-the-line throws with the game on the line. You as a top-flight corner are supposed to make those plays. And right now our defense is not making those. I'm sorry to say it. And we were all big advocates of the defense. And right now, with those certain players, they're not playing up to the standard for us fans. That's why – a lot of people are selling their tickets in Nashville too, which is another issue,
I mean, I don't understand how anyone gets excited to go to a game. You know, well, I would, because if I lived down there, it'd be something I'm not used to, and I'd want to take advantage of every freaking minute. But if I'm someone that's a native Nashvilleian, whatever they go by, someone who goes to the games on a regular basis, someone who's had season tickets for, since their inception, I don't know how you cancel plans or work around other plans to get to these games, because the product you're seeing is just embarrassing. It's Carolina Panthers embarrassing, but you can't even say that now because they just, how many points did they score? 38, 30, whatever it was. So we're not even in their category now. Now, what we saw last night helped ease the pain a little bit because the Jaguars are a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet them to cover after they went down 7-0. They gave me 13.5. I'm like, they got to make this. They are horrendous. Horrendous. So, and that's another thing too. Like, this team is 2 games back. Hasn't played one division game yet. No, but it's over. We know it's over. Unless something crazy happens, we just kind of know. Like, it's just, there's no way. Even with the Texans getting shithoused by the Vikings.
There's only six teams in NFL history that made the playoffs after starting 0-3. Are we one of them right now? Absolutely not. Could it be possible? Yes, but you're looking at 1% right now, if that, because unless they go on an absolute tear, and October is an absolute brutal stretch on that schedule. You got the Colts, you got the Bills, you got the Lions.
Well, the Colts aren't brutal. The Colts,
but brutal. It doesn't matter about brutal. It's a division game, and every single division game is going to be brutal because we know each other so well.
Oh yeah.
So every single one, whether they're shit or not, it's always the Titans first. And I'll give you another thing. I tweeted about it the other day. The Titans first. The Miami Dolphins has not had a lead this season yet until Monday night. Of course, we are the first for everything. That's why I tweeted it the other day. When I saw that, I said, "You want to bet that the Miami Dolphins are going to have a lead in this game at some point?" So it's just always a trend for us, man. It really is.
Sammy just put in their 50% chance we make the playoffs. I don't know where he's getting that from. I don't know if that's the land of makebelieve.com he got that stat from, but I mean, I know what it is. It's statistically.
That's AC's dream right there.
That's 15. My God, that's maybe, like I said, if the soul of Steve McNair is able to enter Will Levis and he starts taking over the wheel there, maybe I give us a 15% chance, but. I don't see the passion, and I'm hearing, and I'm telling you now, I watched a couple of videos of people that have podcasts. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't know the truth of it, but there are people that have some podcasts I've been watching after the game, and they claim they live somewhere close to where Levis does. And they say that he's a out and about cat. He's hitting the lights, hitting the city. And I don't know. That's not really what I expected. I know we saw him a little bit last offseason. You saw the video of him wasted going to tits or winning, whatever. But I thought he eats, eat, breathe, and sleep football. I don't know if that's the case. Maybe it's not. Maybe he is all about the flash and dash, and he's just here for a paycheck and just going through the motions. There's no reason for me to believe otherwise, because he's just making stupid mistakes every week. So I want to believe, but where are the signs?
It's very hard to believe right now.
There's none. And this defense, I mean, we're letting them off the hook a little bit, at least most of this fan base. Like, they were embarrassing. And Denard Wilson, for everything he did in the first 2 weeks, should be embarrassed. That Malik Willis did what he did to this team, looking like a veteran. Okay, and I know they have decent receivers, but we're not looking at Chris Carter or Randy Moss on the fucking Packers here, okay? And that's what it looked like he had. Christian Watson, really? That was like the best game of his career. It just never ends with this fucking team, man. It never ends. It
That's
never
what I said.
does.
Hopefully they got the scorching. Hopefully the offensive line got the scorching going into Miami, because this is a must-win game for both teams, in my opinion. You got all their starting quarterbacks out. We just need a chip on our shoulder. We need some kind of drive going into the bye week. Going 1-3, coming back against a division rival. Coming off that little break and trying to get to 2-3, just like AC said before the show. Because if we come out Monday night and look like shit, I'm telling you right now, something has to give, and I think Amy's going to do something. I mean, it's not going to be no imminent fire or something. Something's going to happen, okay? Because you can't with all this talent, with all this money that you spent, because she gave them the keys to do everything, okay?
Yeah.
And for us to start with, there's no excitement for this team right now. We, like they said, we were promised all this high-powered offense. We got nothing right now, and we're going into Miami, who announced their starting quarterback. I don't know if you've seen that.
Snoop,
well,
right?
they said no, Tyler Huntley.
Well, that's his nickname, isn't it? Snoop.
I don't know. Well, Tyler
Whatever it
Huntley is going to be against, probably most likely, McDaniel said, is going to be the starting quarterback Monday night. And I got a little news for you. Tyler Huntley can sling the ball a little bit.
Oh,
and
yeah.
As a starter,
he was with Baltimore. I swear to God, I thought it was Lamar a couple times.
Yeah, and as
He
a
can
starter,
fucking play.
he's got a 4-1 record, and he's got 2 lethal weapons over there with Hill and Waddle.
We're giving them a point.
And we're giving them a point. So,
well, not on DraftKings, but
yeah, I mean, 4-1 as a starter, this guy can play football. So I mean, I wouldn't take this. Tua's out, Skylar Thompson's out, this guy's out. Tyler Huntley is a very capable quarterback in the NFL.
Listen, I thought about this a lot last night when I was trying to sleep, and I just couldn't, because this fucking team somehow is on my mind, no matter how little joy they give me. If they lose this game, like, there's got to be maybe talks about firing this guy. I'm sorry, Jarrett. People that are watching this right now could torch me in the chat. They can torch me in the chat. But are we understanding what has happened up until this point? Okay, we got rid of a guy. We brought this guy in solely on what he did with the quarterback position. With what he did with guys like Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford. I think Peyton was on the list too, right? Towards the end? Okay. So that had a large part as to why we hired him. And what has happened since is that our quarterback that we invested in, our young quarterback, second-year quarterback, has regressed tremendously. So, and in the process, we will then have lost to 2 backup quarterbacks, one of which we had on our bench for 2 years. If that's not enough for Amy to be like, I might have to do this, I don't know what is.
So now, just piggybacking and playing devil's advocate off of that, okay? Yes, the offense hasn't looked like shit, okay?
Shit.
But granted, we had the lead, and he gave the game away week 1. So right there, we're 1-0, okay? If he doesn't turn the ball over. Week 2 against the Jets, the same reason. You're giving points away. We're home. We got the momentum. Life gets sucked out of the stadium while we're there. Last week was the only week, okay, that we could be possibly with the 1 loss, because we got shithoused last week, okay? Now, if you're saying this week, I mean, I know the fall guy is going to be Brian Callahan coming in, but what happens if it just really is Will Levis? We don't know the the ins and outs.
Last year, Jarrett, he wasn't doing. We're acting like he played 1 game last year. He played half the season.
Yeah,
he didn't do anything like this last year.
He played 9 games. He looked like shit because of the offensive line too. He didn't have the receivers,
but he didn't
now
do any
he
of
has
this
the weapon. Now he has the weapon. So I mean, I could see the regression. I'm just trying to see optimistic of it. Is it more of the offensive line? I mean, clearly there are struggles there. Will Levis' decision making, when he has a clean pocket, the throws that he's making are not good. So I mean, that's really not on the head coach.
I understand this.
The route trees, yes, and all that. I mean, we're trying to talk to see what is the blame and what is going on.
Exactly.
People can torch us all they want in the comments because their opinion is different from us. Our opinion is different from them. I mean, we're just talking Titans here.
But but obviously we don't get paid to scheme offenses. But it's hard. It's difficult not to think that if you're really good at your job, if you're really good at making offensive machines run, okay? And you have a situation where your offensive line is wishy-washy. It's not something that you can depend on as much as you thought. You got a quarterback that if the pocket collapses, tends to do some wild things. You should be able to figure out a way to scheme up game plans to limit those things from happening.
Absolutely.
And that is not happening at all. Now, I know a lot of it's on Levis too. We're not putting him out of it. We're not excluding him and excusing him. But, I mean, this guy is not giving you any reason to believe he can develop a quarterback. And we brought him here to develop a quarterback. So it's just like, what's the point of having him here then?
I mean, like I said, the work could be put in all you want from the coach to from the quarterback. But like you said, what we talked about in the beginning, if it's not here when you're on the field,
yeah, of course,
you could be X's and O's on the chalkboard. All right, my first read's top down. I got Treylon Burks over the top. If he's double covered, Treylon Burks is here. You could be perfect like that. But when you're in a game situation,
of course,
you got to be good, man.
That's what just makes this the worst possible situation, because
Absolutely.
You aren't wrong for blaming whoever the hell you want to blame. You want to blame Levis, you can't argue with you. You want to blame Callahan, it's hard to argue. You want to blame Denard Wilson after why we're 0-3 now, it's hard to argue. Everything is going wrong. You want to blame the fucking special teams coach as to why we're not at least a 2-win team, you can't argue that. Everything's going wrong. So at this point now, if you're not gonna hold anybody responsible, fine. But you're gonna lose a lot of your fan base. You're gonna lose a lot of your ticket sales from people that live in the state of Tennessee if you're gonna continue to let this product go on the field every day and not hold a soul accountable. And that's it. You want to be the 32nd ranked team for the rest of the year? Fine. But no one's going to these fucking games once we get into the dead of winter. Or towards Christmas. Forget it. Nobody's going to go. So that's just the way it is. But I think we're going to wrap it up for today, guys. As always, we appreciate all of you jumping in. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I mean, we're getting a lot of views. We're very grateful for that from all of you. But if you're watching and you made it to this point and you're not subscribed, it's a very easy thing to do. You got to click that button. It helps us out tremendously. So please do if you haven't on any platform that you're watching or listening. And, we appreciate all the support we've been getting. So we hope everyone has a fantastic rest of their week. Anything else you want to add, Jarett, before we wrap up?
No, man. I mean, we'll do our prediction shows, and we're going to try to hit a parlay on Thursday. So that's another positive because the NFL
I'm going to try to hit a parlay for you guys.
Oh, my God. The NFL is just sucking me dry. College football is where it's at. I'm 2-2, so maybe I'll throw a little college football maybe on Thursday if we're allowed to do that.
Absolutely.
So we'll see.
And that's another thing before we close out real quick. What makes this even worse is that the NFL looks so fucking open again. What are the Vikings the best team in the league? That's what it looks like.
It's crazy.
The Vikings? The Vikings?
Bengals with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, T. Higgins 0-3. It's unbelievable, dude.
I know. It's ridiculous. But when you're the worst team in the league, it doesn't matter what's going on with the other 31. And that's what we are right now. So let's try to get out of that. And then we'll take it from there, guys. So as always, hoping everyone has a great rest of their week. And as always, tighten up. Sammy, you know the drill. Send us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Talking Titans on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.